Hello, my friends. Today, I will be recapping the movie called Renfield. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. In the early 20th century, Transylvanian vampire Count Dracula met English lawyer R.M. Renfield, who was hoping to broker a deal for some land but ended up becoming Dracula's familiar. Dracula made Renfield his assistant, and Renfield's task became serving Dracula in exchange for superhuman strength, speed, immortality, and the ability to go out in daylight. However, Dracula feeds on blood while Renfield gains his strength from consuming insects. Later, a scene shows some vampire hunters trying to kill Dracula and imprison him in a magical circle, and they ask Renfield not to intervene. But Dracula manipulates his mind and tells him that they will imprison and seek revenge against him for what he has done. He convinces Renfield that he is the only one who can save him, then Renfield breaks the circle, freeing Dracula. Dracula kills the hunters, but in the chaos, one of them manages to open a window, letting sunlight in and burning Dracula severely. At the last moment, Renfield saves him by putting out the flames, but Dracula's body is severely damaged, and he needs blood to regain his strength. Renfield becomes the one who brings him victims, but at this point, Renfield is weary of serving Dracula. However, he cannot escape his servitude. Dracula stays in the abandoned old hospital building, waiting victims to feed on their blood. Renfield joins a self-help group attending therapy sessions for addiction to toxic relationships. They talk about how their friends used to exploit them and drain their energy under the guise of friendship, with the leader using the follower for their own purposes. Although the follower may be uncomfortable, they cannot break free. This is the true message of the film. You may argue that Renfield joined the support groups to rid himself of his servitude to Dracula, but the truth is, he was looking for victims to offer them to Dracula. He decided to offer the evil, power-hungry people who hurt innocent people to ease his conscience. He began to think ethically from this point on. One of the patients tells the story of her friend who played with her emotions and exploited her in the worst way possible. He decided to go to her friend's warehouse where he works. But when he arrived at the warehouse, he discovered that he and his friends had stolen a large amount of drugs from a big criminal family called the Lopo family. As soon as he entered, they thought he had sent by Lopo to kill them for the drugs they had stolen. However, he didn't care and started killing them one by one until it was the turn of the wanted person. They are all attacked by an assassin hired by the Lobo crime family who are pushing drugs into the city. The assassin stabbed Renfield in the stomach, but he eats insects and his strength increases again. He manages to easily get rid of the killer. Teddy, the drug dealer, is waiting outside. When he sees the head of the killer, he becomes scared and terrified. Renfield comes out, and Teddy is afraid of him. He runs away quickly, feeling terrorized. Suddenly, he finds himself in a police ambush with lots of drugs in the car, and he may be arrested. He manages to break through the ambush, tries to escape, but the police shoot at the car, disabling it, and he gets out to run. He throws drugs at them to stop them, but they hit him and manage to arrest him. Officer Rebecca catches him, and we know that her father was also a police officer whose job was to catch the Lupo family, but they killed him. She seeks revenge against them and takes Teddy to the police station, hoping for justice. Unfortunately, Teddy is released because the Lopo family is very influential and powerful, and they have relationships to the point where the commander tells Rebecca to stay away from the matter entirely. This means that he is taking money from the Lupo family. In short, the law in this city was corrupt. Afterward, we learn that Rebecca has a sister named Kate, who works in a branch affiliated with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and asked her sister to act more wisely so that they could restore their father's right without losing their jobs. Renfield presents the bodies of the people he killed to Dracula, but Dracula is not satisfied and demands the blood of innocent young people. He gets angry and wounds Renfield in the stomach, telling him that he must bring him innocent people. Afterward, he goes to a restaurant to find one of the innocent people. At the same time, Rebecca tries to find any evidence and goes to the same place where the drug dealers died and finds the pen that Renfield used to kill the hired killer, and also finds the name of the restaurant that Renfield uses. She goes to the restaurant at the moment when Renfield is preparing to catch one of the innocent people. However, when Renfield sees her, he hides, and Teddy and his entire gang come, wanting to take revenge against Rebecca so that she doesn't try to arrest him again. Teddy threatens to kill Rebecca and demands that she confess in front of everyone that she lost. Then he will let her alive. But she courageously tells him to kill her if he can. Renfield watches from afar and is encouraged by her bravery. Quickly, he eats an insect and attacks all of Teddy's gang, helping Rebecca and eliminate them all using his strength and speed. But Teddy manages to escape, and Rebecca is affected by Renfield and his bravery. He also feels a beautiful feeling that he has been missing for a long time, which is protecting innocent people and preserving their lives. This leads him to go back to the mental rehabilitation group and ask for help because he is in a toxic relationship. He tells them that his boss was very controlling and provoked all his energy. In fact, he means Dracula. They tell him that he has the real power, not his boss. He must use all the energy he gave to his boss and save it for himself. He will benefit from it and become stronger. And indeed, he rents an apartment alone and changes his entire lifestyle. He tries to live a normal life. He goes to the police station with a flower to give it to Rebecca and tells her that he is willing to testify against the Lopo family. This was a very great thing because people were afraid of the Lopo family's revenge if anyone testified against them. Bella, Teddy's mother, who is the head of the Lopo family, demand that the person who killed their gang and attacked their son must be killed immediately. The gang members tracked Renfield on the cameras and were able to identify the places he was going to. They were able to reach the abandoned Dracula hospital, which was Dracula's hideout. Teddy and his gang arrived at the hospital to try to kill Renfield. When they entered the hospital, suddenly Dracula appeared and quickly killed each member of the gang one by one. Before killing Teddy, Teddy cried out to him, telling him that he is a criminal and one of the biggest criminal families in the world, and that Dracula should spare him and think about exploiting his influence to govern the whole city instead of killing him. Teddy also told him that he wanted to capture this person and showed him a picture of Renfield on his phone. Dracula became angry when he found out that Renfield helps innocent people and defends them. Dracula went to Renfield's house and waited for him there. We know that Dracula cannot enter anyone's house without permission, but Renfield's apartment had a welcome mat in front of it, which Dracula considered a welcoming message and entered the house. Dracula threatened Renfield and told him that he was the victim because Renfield benefited from Dracula's power and tricked him. However, Renfield told him that he just wants to be a normal person and feel happy. Renfield brings a book to explain to Dracula what he means, but Dracula discovers that the book is titled Support Group, which Renfield attends. Suddenly, Dracula disappears from the place, and Renfield immediately realizes that Dracula is heading towards the support group to kill them and needs their blood because they are innocent. Renfield runs quickly to the support group and asks them to leave the place immediately. But it would be too late, and Dracula arrived at the scene. Renfield begged him to leave them alone because they were innocent, but Dracula told him that he loved the blood of the innocent and killed them all in front of Renfield, then disappeared from the place. Rebecca appeared and saw Renfield sitting among the bodies, crying. She arrested him on charges of murder and took him in a police car. However, before they could move, large groups of corrupt police cars arrived with Bella Lopo and the gang, and the commissioner told Rebecca to drop the case for a huge promotion, a new house, and everything she wanted in exchange for leaving Renfield to them. Rebecca agreed, and everyone calmed down, but she deceived them and quickly got into the car and escaped with Renfield. Renfield took her to his home, and when she woke up, revealed himself and his true nature and everything that had happened to him with Dracula. Rebecca could not believe that he was just a servant and not a hero. Nevertheless, they began to think about fighting the Lupo family together. Her sister called her and informed her that she had analyzed DNA from the pen and found out that Renfield was involved in centuries-old murders. This made Rebecca sure that what he said was true, but as they go out, the police team and the Lobo family gang attack them and Renfield by eating the insect and using his strength again and fighting them all and overcoming them and being Bella watching the whole battle through the cameras so that they can eliminate the whole gang. We go back to Dracula's hideout and offer Teddy to use his family. He cooperates with him in ruling the world and agrees with Teddy and tells him that you must meet my mother, Bella, the head of the gang. And they really take Dracula with him in a coffin to protect him from the sun rays, and he goes home to meet his mother and plan together how to rule the world. Bella is happy to see Dracula. In the next scene, Rebecca calls her sister, but Bella answers her and tells her that she kidnapped her sister. Rebecca decided to rescue her sister immediately. Renfield was afraid, but she told him that if he wanted to be a good person, he had to sacrifice everything. He agreed to go with her and fight, taking large amounts of insects with him, while Rebecca prepared herself with many weapons. When they arrived at the Lupo family's home, they found it open. Teddy and his mother appeared, and we noticed that he turned into an insect and ate it, and his eyes shone. This meant that Dracula gave him power and made him one of his special assistants. The other members of the gang also appeared, all with the same power as Renfield, and became Dracula's assistants. They all attacked Renfield, and a big battle broke out between them. In the midst of the chaos, Rebecca entered Teddy's mother's room and asked her where her sister was, threatening her. Bella closes the doors and windows to prevent the sun from shining in, and Dracula appears and tells her that he has heard a lot about her bravery and asks her to join his team as his assistant. In return, he promises to heal her sister with his blood and bring her back to life. Meanwhile, Renfield is outside arguing with Teddy, and their strength is now evenly matched. But in the end, Renfield manages to defeat him. He quickly heads out to find Rebecca and discovers that she has indeed joined Dracula's team. He tells her not to do it, but she insists that saving her sister is worth whatever sacrifice she must make, so Dracula takes her into his arms. However, she quickly presses a control button and opens the windows to let in the sunlight, causing Dracula to burn up and transform into a swarm of bats. The bats attack Renfield and he falls to the ground unconscious. Suddenly the light cuts off and everything goes dark. Rebecca realizes that Dracula is no longer around and he appears in his natural form, ready to suck her blood. She strikes him with fire on his leg, causing him to bleed and fall onto Renfield, who heals himself with Dracula's blood. Renfield's strength becomes incredibly powerful, and he attacks Dracula furiously, seeking revenge. Despite this, Dracula isn't affected by his attacks. He decides to take his ultimate revenge on them, but Rebecca creates a magic circle that imprisons Dracula at the last moment. They both decide to end him for good and brutally cut his body into small pieces, mixing them with cement and spreading them in different locations. Renfield keeps some of Dracula's blood to cure people who have lost their loved ones. Rebecca's sister is alive and well, and they embrace each other. Renfield uses Dracula's blood to bring his friends back to life, and they thank him for what he has done. Renfield continues his life with Rebecca without being beholden to anyone, and the movie ends. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I always love hearing from my viewers, so feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts on the video or any suggestions for future content. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.